And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and tonight we will be talking about the Elite Eight and who has advanced to Indy in the Final Four. Yes, we're down to four. That means we're pretty much down to the end of the season. The Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight have come and gone. What a weekend it was. We are now down to four. And let's just get straight into it here. Look, I usually start off in chronological order. We ain't doing that. Because after what I just saw, after I can't believe what I just saw, we gonna talk about it. Uconn stuns me, the country, in the way they did it. They stunned America. They stunned Duke 73-72 in the East Regional Final in Washington, D.C. to advance to the third Final Four in 4 years. Spoiler, they'll be taking on Illinois, which will, after this, we'll go to that game. I've never. This was the game of the weekend. You can make an argument. This was the game of the tournament. I'm. There's been so many great games: Purdue, Texas, Santa Clara, Kentucky, Nebraska, Vandy, Iowa, Nebraska, Iowa, Florida. There's been so many. Ohio State, TCU, so many great games in this tournament. This one tops it. This may be the best one. Who knows what the Final Four entails? Duke was up 19 points. This is the largest blown lead in an Elite Eight game ever. Uconn comes back to do it. And let's talk about it. In that first half, Duke got whatever they wanted. They got whatever they wanted. They got whatever they wanted inside. I mean, they scored 44 points in the first half. They got whatever they wanted inside. Truthfully, Cam Boozer was getting whatever he wanted. Caden Boozer was getting whatever they wanted. And then in the second half, they weren't. I've told you guys, I thought the key to this team was Isaiah Evans. And he only scored 7 points. It was also crucial that Caleb Foster didn't score any points, but he's coming off, the fractured foot that he played very well against St. John's. It was truthfully an incredible basketball game. There was a point in time in this game where Uconn was 1 of 18. Like, you just felt like they couldn't buy a shot. And look, in this game here, Uconn was fighting from behind, from underneath. I mean, truthfully, that's what they were doing. They were fighting from underneath, and you just felt like during this game, okay, you knew in the second half they were gonna try and make a run coming out of halftime. That's what you felt like, and they were fighting, and they did, and they didn't do it where it's a big run, and here we go. They just kept chipping and chipping and chipping. And I thought it was the heart of a champion really today. They did this in a game where Solo Ball and Alex Caravan are a combined 5 of 21 from the field and a combined 1 of 11 from 3. Caravan would have 5 points. It was 2 for 10. He hit a big one late to put them down 1. He hit a big one late. Late there. It was deep. He hit that one. I'm like, wow, we finally hit one. Uconn ends 5 of 23 from 3. They made 4 of their last 5. And it was able to get them over the hump. UConn won because the best player on the floor to me today, it was not Cam Boozer. And Cam Boozer was terrific. It was Terrence Reed. In that second half, they just said, look, Terrence Reed's the only thing working for us. We're gonna live and die. We're going to play off of him, whether he's gonna be in the post and he's gonna get a jump hook, whatever. Terrence Reed in this tournament has been phenomenal. And he's been their best player, and he's the reason they're in the Final Four. You look at the 30 and 20 game against Furman. He was terrific against Michigan State on Friday night. He was terrific against. He was really good against UCLA in the round of 32. He was terrific, and he had 3 fouls at a point, and you went, okay, you don't want him to like foul out here because this is all you got, and I give him a lot of credit. He, I thought, did a great job of defending without fouling in the second half. Uh, a lot. Let's just go to the ending sequence, like because that's all people want to are going to want to talk about here. Let's go to the ending sequence. So it's it's 70-69 Duke after the Caravan three. Duke goes down. Cam Boozer, they ended up getting a float layup to put him up three. Then, okay, Uconn comes down, calls a timeout. They're going here. They're trying to get a shot. Duke is playing good defense. Demery ends up getting fouled. It's 2 shots. He makes the first. He misses the first. And you go, oh gosh. And then he makes the second to make it 72-70. And this is where the chaos ensues. Duke's got to get the ball inbound. They get it. Cam Boozer kind of stumbled with it. They trapped. You get it away. Dame Sark. All Duke has to do is hold the basketball here, by the way. They get it up to Caden Boozer. And then it happened. Caden tries to throw it up to Ngamba, which if the pass gets made, nobody's there to defend Ngamba. It's a dunk, and Duke's going to the Final Four. It gets tapped by Mullins. Caravan is like, you have to give him credit. He stays calm, cool, collected. He gets it. He swings it over to Braylon Mullins, a freshman from the state I'm in, Indiana, Greenfield, Indiana. From the logo, basically the March Madness logo, and he drills a 40-footer to win them the game, essentially. There was point four. Dude, one thing you could do. It was from point four. I just, you don't. This is it's one of the greatest endings I've ever seen. I was in my dorm room watching it with my bro, and I screamed. Or I yelled. I shouldn't say scream, but yell. Like, first I was like, oh my goodness, they have a chance to, like, they, after the tip, and then I'm like, Mullins for the win. Oh my God, he hit it. And it's just on a night. I mean, Mullins, before that shot, he's 0 for 4 from 3. I mean, when I tell you UConn could not buy a shot, they were getting very good looks. You're not getting great looks because Duke's defense is really good. But they got a lot of good looks in this game, and they just couldn't drill one. And Demery hit 2. I know he hit 2 in this game. And I don't want to say it opened the floodgates, but it made you feel like, okay, UConn, they just got to, if they can continue to get good looks, the law of averages says a couple are going to fall. And look, they were 1 of 18 and then 4 or 5 to in that ending sequence in the second half. So they started to fall. And I mean, look, 5 of 23 is still horrendous. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's better than 1 of 18. So yeah, it was an unbelievable it was truthfully an unbelievable basketball game. When these two programs come up, these blue bloods, an Elite Eight game in Washington D.C., these games usually don't disappoint, and they didn't. And this game didn't. The Uconn side of this, we're documenting it right now. Dan Hurley's the best coach in the sport. If you had any doubt, I'm sorry. I look. Patino's great. Izzo's great. Paint, whoever you want to mention, Shire, Golden, Lloyd, Painter, May, whoever you want to bring up right now. Dan Hurley, he's going to his third Final Four in 4 years. They were dominant in the two Final Fours. In the two Final Fours, they were dominant. When the one where they were 4 seed, they just ran through the tournament. A lot of people felt like unexpectedly. And then the year they got the 1 seed, you're just like, no, but if you picked against them, you were hoping. Nobody, I've said it so many times, nobody was beating that team. Nobody was beating that team. And then obviously, I know last year they took a step back. You lose a lot of guys. Uh, you take a bit of a step back, and even in that round of 32 game, if Walter Clayton Jr. doesn't go nuclear, UConn wins that game and is on to the Sweet 16. And like you said, when you get to the second weekend, who knows what can happen. But this is a team that not even 16 days ago got run out the gym by St. John's. They got 15 days ago, I think, ran out the gym. I mean, St. John's got up early in that Big East tournament final, and they crushed them. And now they're going to the Final Four in a run where Hurley has beaten Cronin, who's no slouch. Final Four over 600 wins. He beat Izzo and he's being Shire. And this is a team that this year they've been very up and down. I know you say 33-5. How? This is a team that lost to Marquette. And they don't win the Big East regular season or tournament title. And they're going to the Final Four. I said it. I know people try to compare. Is this team up? No, this team is not good. It's not better than those two national title teams. But this team is really good, and they have a heart of a champion, and they dig in deep. They dug deep. And I said it. And look, Duke. We're gonna get to the Duke side of this in a minute. You need guys that have been through the wars in college basketball. You need the perfect blend, I think, now in this NIL era of youth and guys who have been through the war. Caravan, Reed, Solo Ball, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross. They've been through the wars in this program. And obviously, you got even Demery to a certain degree, but even Braylon Mullins. I mean, freshmen, big time onions, So you have to have the perfect blend. And if you look at Michigan and Arizona, who we'll get to later here in this pod, that's what they have as well. So this was a heck of a performance. I just had to say this about UConn because I know a lot of people will focus on the collapse from Duke and Shire. You gotta give UConn a lot of credit. I mean, to be down 19 against that Duke team, I know they blew it. Duke's really good. UConn did not give in. UConn they said we are not losing this basketball game today. And you have to give Hurley. I know people talk about Hurley and his antics and all that, but you got to give the man credit. Those guys play for him. They would not give in. They said, "Look, if we lose, we're going down swinging." They wouldn't give in. And I thought in the second half he did outcoach Shire in terms of they were able to shut down the inside for good the second half. Uh, I did think Duke had some unforced turnovers late, but I also thought you Hurley put them in a position in the second half where they were able. He put them in a position to win that game late, and you could say they stole it, whatever. They're going to they'll he you can say whatever they want. They're going to the Final Four. It's one of the most incredible ending sequences I've ever seen, and the game was fantastic. I don't think you UConn Duke, man, incredible. UConn's going to the Final Four. Now let's talk about the Duke side of this. It's an absolute crusher. You don't losses like these. This is what Shire's lost 6 times in 2 years, right? So look, I don't want to come on here and be the hot take guy because I'm not, because that's just look. Anybody saying Shire's not it, overrated, or he should be relaxed. Like, he's a very good coach. But I gotta tell you the truth. He gonna be catching some heat. Pressure's gonna be on next season. Because you cannot. This is, and I know this may seem harsh for Duke fans, and Duke fans may agree with this. I feel like it's a failure of a season. Well, how could you say that? They won the ACC and they won the ACC tournament, and then what do they did that last year? And they did that last year. What they care about is they haven't even been to the final game of the March Madness since 2015. Grayson Allen, Justice Winslow, they have not been to that game since 2015. Tyus Jones, like, they've been to that final game. And they they haven't won a Final Four game since then. Like, they haven't. So this year you don't even make the Final Four. And you can say, well, it was the toughest region to blah 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 blah. But you were the number one overall seed to not even make the. And look, give UConn credit. Again, I did that for basically 15 straight minutes. But you have to be able, as Duke, to look yourself in the mirror and say, we blew this. They were up 19 points. You got to win that game. And if this was just one game, it'd be like, okay. If you look at their last couple losses, it's a reoccurring theme now. The Texas Tech game in MSG, lead by 18, lose it. The UNC game, lead by 13, lose it. Then you go to last year's Final Four, lead by 14 and lose it. It happened last year too, because okay, they made the Final Four, and then they were very young, and they got into a game against the Houston Cougars, where Houston, they have been doing those comebacks all season. And so when they got there, they weren't in unfamiliar territory. Duke had been struggling to close out games all season, but they hadn't been in a lot of them because of how dominant they were last year. And obviously that you can't lose that game last year. Because then you're in the final game against Florida, and who knows? Maybe you're able to slow down Walter Clayton or combat him. And from a talent perspective, with all the NBA guys on that team, I don't know how you don't win the national championship. And so this year, you come in not with a lot of pressure, but maybe with some. I mean, you got the Boozer brothers, and you have a very good team, and you're gelling and you're rolling, and you don't win. You don't even get to the final four. It's a it's a brutal way to look at it, but that's how it is. And Shire's going to be under a world of pressure next season because I think next season, I don't. You have to make the national championship game, bare minimum. I mean, that's what you or get back to the final four. I mean, obviously, you don't know what type of team you're gonna have, but to have like to have Cam Boozer, Caden, Cooper Flag, Conkin, got all these NBA guys over the past 2 years, or future NBA guys in the past 2 years, and to not win a championship, that just see, and to do it in the way you've done it, like to lose the games in the fashion of this one. You have a 19-point lead, and you could just feel Duke was hanging on, hanging on, hanging on by a thread. And look, this is what happens when you don't put them away. When you don't put teams away, that's what happens. And it bit them. It's absolutely brutal. It is, but that's the reality. Caden Boozer, a lot of people are going to give him heat for that last turnover. I know what he was thinking, but if he see, here's the thing: if he makes that pass, if that pass gets over, and Gamba dunks it, this is a completely different podcast. We are talking completely different. We're talking about how Duke, even though Uconn, they made a run, but Duke was able to withstand it, and they're going to the Final Four to play Illinois, where they'll be pretty good favorites. And now they're going home. I mean, it's just the difference in March, man. It's incredible. But yeah, Duke, again, this is another tough pill to swallow because you had them. You had them dead to right. And this is the second straight year in a row you've had them dead to rights. So look, love Shire as a coach. Think he's one of the young, brilliant, bright minds. It's a tough one to swallow. And now cause, and this is gonna be my last, and then we'll move on. Where you felt like Duke was different for last year, or at least I did. Duke last year, they were so dominant. They hadn't been in a lot of close games, right? Duke this year was dominant, but not as dominant as last year's team. And they found themselves in situations where they were down double digits a lot and coming back to win. I mean, in this tournament, they're down what? They're down what? 12 against Siena. They're down 10 against St. John's, and they find a way to will their way back and win. Like this team was battle tested, and they could close games, and now they're still up 19 in this, and they don't close it. It's just, I don't know, man. Gotta give them props, but UConn's going to Indy, and they will be playing the Illinois Fighting Illini, 71-59. Uh, Bennett Sturts was very good in this game for Illinois. Wasn't enough. It's a heck of a ride for Iowa. It was a heck of a ride. Ben McCullum's a winner, and I know this one's going to sting for him, but I believe he will have a better team, and they will be back. Illinois, I just thought, took over the game in the second half. Keaton Wagler was terrific. Him and Stojakovic to me. I mean, Illinois won a game where they hit three threes. They won a game where they hit three threes. They were 3 of 17 for three. Illinois getting them. I picked Illinois to the Final Four in my bracket. Illinois here. I said all year I thought they could be a French Final Four team, but you just didn't know what you were getting. I said if they could put it together for 4 games, they got a shot, and they put it together. I want to hear about the path because I know people been throwing that out there. Son, they don't pick who they play. Tell UNC to not blow a 19-point lead to VCU. Tell VCU to play better against Illinois. How about this? Tell tell Florida not to lose to Iowa. Tell Nebraska not to lose to Iowa. Like I don't get this thing. Tell Iowa play back. Like I don't get this thing where all this run. Oh well, they didn't. It's the tournament. You you win and you advance. You don't pick who you play. So don't give me that. Illinois, Illinois, and Brad Underwood. He said this was his dream job, and he's done it. Illinois this year, I feel like had the perfect blend. You've they've got the veteran leadership. They have the shooting. They have the standout freshmen. They have the veterans, and they have the size. I think the reason Illinois to me it becomes a matchup problem is because one, they can stretch you out. They can put 5 guys on the floor and they can just go 5 out. They got guys like Stojakovic and Walkler who can really just create their own shot. Merkovich to me is a matchup nightmare because he can post you up and he can bring you outside. And then Boswell, obviously, as the veteran leader, he can score, but he also guards very well. I think he may be their best defender. And then if they want to go big, they can put the two Ivasiches on the floor at the same time, and they can just bludgeon you to death on the boards, which is what they did because they out rebounded Iowa by 17. It I don't think out of all of Brad Underwood's teams, you could talk about the Kofi Cockburn squad and the Sumo squads, and okay, those were really good teams. I don't think they had as much versatility as this. I do not think they have much versatility as this squad. And Illinois has proven they can beat the way they guard. They can win a high scoring game. They can win a medium to low scoring game. They can beat you any way they want to. They beat Houston at their own game. They pounded them on the glass. And in this one, did the same thing to Iowa. And Illinois is now going to the Final Four to face UConn. That's going to be the first national semi-final that's played, and we'll have time all week to get into that in terms of the matchup. But I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup. Terrence Reed's going to be a load for Illinois to handle. Obviously, Caravan. Though the key to me is always the guard play in these games. Walkler, and also the week of prep, maybe some nerves you'll see as well. The second national semifinal has been determined. Let's just get into one of the one seeds. Michigan just destroys Tennessee. This won't take long. Michigan's a wagon. There was a point where Tennessee was up 19-16 in this game, and then Michigan just hit them with like a 22-0 run, and it was all she wrote. And Yaxel Lindenborg was amazing. What else is new? They guarded Tennessee. I mean, if if Michigan is hitting double digit threes at an efficient clip, I'm gonna be real. You have no chance unless you're like Arizona or Duke before you're eliminated. Like you legitimately have no shot. If you're like Tennessee, once they hit them with the game was over. Once they hit them with that run, it was a wrap, dog. You have to be hitting one of those. Like it was over. Night night. Look, great run for Tennessee. I'll give them credit. They after that run didn't have a shot. Not his best night. Look, Tennessee getting to the Elite Eight with this team. Rick Barnes is a phenomenal head coach, but Michigan's going to the Final Four again. Michigan's been dominant all season, and for majority of this tournament, they've just been dominant. Still, I said it. I thought the only one that could beat them in this region was Iowa State, and then Iowa State loses Joshua Jefferson, best player. Tennessee gets him. I like Michigan's going go to the Final Four. Man, Michigan. I mean Burnett. I mean Cadeau. Very good league guard. You got Mara. I mean they're so big. They can impose on you physically. They can physically impose their will, and that just makes them so good and so tough to beat. They're a wagon, man. And Dusty May, in 2 years, he wins the Big Ten tournament last year. They go to the Sweet 16. Now this year, he wins the Big Ten regular season. They get to the Big Ten tournament final, obviously lose to Purdue. They're a 1 seed, and they're going to the Final Four, and they basically steamrolled their way there. The Wolverines, man, they're gonna be a tough out. They're gonna be in a heavyweight fight against the Arizona Wildcats. Speaking of Arizona, they beat Purdue 79-64. We want to talk about wagons. Oof. Arizona, man. And look, Purdue played a whale of a first half. We're up 38-31. Then in the second half, it goes 48-26. They didn't have an answer for Cole Pete in the second half. They did not have an answer for Cole Pete. Like Arizona, I felt they really were able to turn up the heat defensively. What Arizona has legitimately, I don't know where their weakness is. Maybe they don't shoot enough threes, but to me, Arizona takes so many good looks. Like they use the size to their advantage. And Arizona is so tough to beat because obviously you have to mix with the veteran and the freshman. And the freshmen are just been terrific. Burries and Kopi. You got De La Rosa off the bench. You got Toby Awaka. They can go big where they could play Awaka and Krivas together, and they could play Kopi at the 3, or they could play Ivan at the 3, who again is a freshman. He's been terrific. Whatever they want to choose to do there. De La Rosa, to me, he's their Swiss Army knife off the bench. He to me, he can come in and give you about 15 points. And obviously Awaka, they play him a lot. They didn't play the bench a lot against Purdue. Awaka had 4 fouls, but they just had to roll with what they had. But to me, Kopi, there was a stretch in that game where he just takes it over. And that was all she wrote. And again, Purdue's a very good team, but Purdue, they just did not have the guys in terms of the NBA guys. You saw it. And so Arizona's moving on 36-2. I told you I thought Arizona's been the best team all season. I I felt like that. I know they lost 2 games. The 2 games they lost, the Texas Tech game they should have won, but then I felt like Kobe being their most important player. They lose at Allen Fieldhouse because he gets hurt there as well. You know, so I feel like they've been the best team all year, but they play Michigan, and let me tell you something. This game gonna be a war. This game is going to be absolutely incredible. Get your popcorn ready. That game is going to, whew, that's gonna be a heck of a game. I don't care what you're doing. You Saturday night about what 8:50, 9 o'clock. You just gonna have to sit down and see for yourself in Indy. That's going to be a heck of a basketball game, bro. And we're gonna have time this week to talk about it and dissect it. All right, everybody. This has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, this has been your Elite 8 recap. See ya.